opening greeting for World News Greenty, your trusted source for fast, accurate, and unbiased international news. Here we bring you the hottest global updates, in depth analysis, and diverse perspectives on the world's most pressing issues. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Thank you for choosing World News Green Tea.
Russia responded to Ukraine with UAVs and missiles causing damage to Ukraine in recent days. As the geopolitical landscape continues to shift, one of the most significant developments has been the tactical response from Russia towards Ukraine. This evolving narrative has been punctuated by the recent deployment of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and missile strikes aimed at Ukrainian targets, leading to considerable destruction and loss. The role of UAVs in modern warfare. The introduction of UAVs into contemporary warfare represents a profound transformation in military strategy. Unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, are increasingly being used for surveillance, reconnaissance, and targeted strikes. Russia's utilization of these advanced technologies illustrates a strategic pivot that emphasizes precision and reduced risk to personnel. On September 7, 2025, the use of UAVs allowed Russian forces to strike vital infrastructure within Ukraine with a degree of anonymity and efficiency previously unattainable. However, while UAVs provide tactical advantages, their increased usage raises ethical questions regarding civilian safety and collateral damage. In the case of Ukraine, many civilian areas have been inadvertently affected, illustrating the moral complexities inherent in drone warfare. The impact of missile strikes. Complementing its UAV operations, Russia has also employed missile strikes as part of its military strategy. Missile technology has evolved dramatically over the last few decades, allowing for long-range attacks that can devastate civilian and military targets alike. The precision-guided munitions deployed against Ukraine have caused extensive damage and prompted humanitarian crises. While such strikes may achieve short-term military objectives, they create long-lasting impacts on infrastructure and civilian life. It is essential to consider the psychological effects on the Ukrainian populace, who are left to bear witness to the devastation and uncertainty brought about by ongoing conflict. Civilians caught in the crossfire. One of the most tragic aspects of this prolonged conflict is the suffering experienced by civilians. As military operations intensify, the toll on everyday citizens escalates. Reports indicate significant civilian casualties resulting from both UAV deployments and missile attacks. The United Nations has documented an alarming number of civilian deaths since the commencement of hostilities, underscoring the human cost of war. Moreover, the long-term consequences extend beyond immediate casualties. Displacement, loss of homes, and lack of access to basic needs perpetuate a cycle of suffering that can affect generations. International responses to Russia's actions. The international community has responded to Russia's aggressive actions with a combination of condemnation and support for Ukraine. Western nations have rallied around Ukraine, providing military aid and humanitarian assistance to help the country defend itself against Russian aggression. Additionally, sanctions have been imposed on Russia with the aim of crippling its economy and deterring further military incursions. However, the effectiveness of these measures remains a topic of debate among political analysts and foreign policy experts. The complexity of global politics means that responses are often tempered by national interests. While many countries openly support Ukraine, others maintain strategic relationships with Russia, complicating the potential for a unified response. Specifically on September 7th, 2025, will likely be remembered as a pivotal day in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, evidenced by a series of coordinated attacks that exemplified the intensity of the situation. Targeted operations and strategic objectives. The UAV and missile strikes carried out on this day were not random acts of aggression. They were calculated maneuvers aimed at achieving specific military objectives. By targeting key infrastructure, such as power plants, transportation hubs, and military installations, Russia sought to undermine Ukraine's ability to sustain resistance. These strikes also served a dual purpose: aimed at instilling fear within the civilian population while simultaneously demonstrating military prowess to both domestic and international audiences. Such operations highlight the broader strategic implications of Russia's military posture. By employing a mix of conventional force and modern technological capabilities, Russia positions itself as a formidable power, capable of exerting influence through strength. Humanitarian concerns. In addition to the military implications, the humanitarian fallout stemming from these attacks reflects a dire reality. Reports from humanitarian organizations detail the rising number of displaced individuals seeking refuge within and outside Ukraine. Hospitals and shelters are overburdened, facing challenges in meeting the needs of those impacted by the violence. As the international community grapples with the crisis, calls for humanitarian corridors and ceasefires increase, highlighting the need for immediate intervention and support. The stark contrast between military objectives and humanitarian needs continues to shape discourse surrounding the conflict. Media coverage and public perception. Media coverage plays a crucial role in shaping public opinion and informing global perspectives on the conflict. On September 7th, news outlets worldwide reported extensively on Russia's UAV and missile strikes, framing them within the context of a larger narrative of aggression and resistance. Social media platforms also became hotbeds for discussion, with users sharing stories and images that encapsulated the human experience amidst warfare. Public perception is vital to understanding the dynamics at play. Support for Ukraine surged in many parts of the world, driven in part by compelling storytelling and the visible plight of civilians affected by the conflict. Conversely, narratives supporting Russia often revolve around national sovereignty and security concerns, illustrating the polarization present in international opinions. Analysis of military effectiveness. A critical analysis of the military effectiveness of the attacks on September 7th provides insight into the broader strategy employed by Russia. While the immediate impact was substantial, questions arise regarding the long-term sustainability of such tactics. Military experts argue that while UAVs and missiles can deliver high-impact strikes, the inability to engage in ground warfare effectively could limit Russia's operational success in securing territory. Additionally, the resilience shown by Ukrainian forces, bolstered by international support, indicates that Russia may face significant challenges in maintaining its offensive momentum. The interplay between military strategy and local resistance will undoubtedly shape future engagements on the battlefield. 2025. As we reflect on the events of September 7th, 2025, it becomes evident that the year has been transformative for both Russia and Ukraine in many ways. Ongoing conflict and its evolution. Throughout 2025, the conflict has shown signs of evolving dynamics and shifting strategies. Russian military operations have increasingly relied on advanced technology, including the integration of cyber warfare and electronic disruptions alongside traditional combat methods. This evolution underscores the changing nature of warfare, where information and technology play equally critical roles alongside brute force. The ongoing conflict has necessitated adaptive strategies from Ukraine, focusing on counteroffensive operations that leverage the element of surprise and asymmetric warfare tactics. As the conflict enters another phase, the lessons learned from past engagements will inform future strategies on both sides. Socioeconomic implications for Ukraine. The socioeconomic implications for Ukraine are profound as the conflict endures. With infrastructure damaged and the economy stifled, recovery efforts pose immense challenges. International aid has poured into Ukraine, but rebuilding will require sustained commitment from both the government and its allies. Additionally, the psychological scars left by war will take time to heal as communities grapple with trauma and loss. Social cohesion may weaken if divisions arise around issues related to governance and resource distribution in the aftermath of conflict. Broader impacts on international relations. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has far-reaching implications for international relations beyond the immediate region. NATO's response to Russia's aggressions has underscored the alliance's commitment to collective defense, prompting discussions about expansion and strategic partnerships. Countries formerly neutral to the conflict are reassessing their security policies and considering closer ties to NATO as a deterrent against potential aggression. Similarly, tensions between Western nations and Russia underscore the fragility of diplomatic relations in an increasingly polarized world. Balancing acts involving economic sanctions and military alliances will continue to shape the geopolitical landscape as nations navigate the complexities of the ongoing conflict. Future outlook and prospects for peace. Looking ahead, the prospects for peace remain uncertain amidst escalating tensions and military posturing. While dialogue remains a possibility, entrenched positions on both sides make negotiations challenging. Civilian experiences must be prioritized within any peace framework, recognizing the need for humanitarian considerations in conjunction with political realities. Ultimately, sustainable peace requires a comprehensive approach that addresses underlying grievances, fosters reconciliation, and ensures accountability for atrocities committed during the conflict. The path forward may be long and arduous, but the pursuit of stability in the region is paramount for all parties involved. Conclusion. The recent attacks wherein Russia responded to Ukraine with UAVs and missiles causing damage to Ukraine signify a continuation of a complex conflict characterized by evolving military strategies, humanitarian challenges, and international ramifications. The events of September 7th, 2025, serve as a stark reminder of the urgent need for dialogue and resolution amidst the turmoil, as the world watches closely, hoping for a peaceful resolution to a protracted crisis.
Relations between India and Pakistan have always been tense, primarily due to territorial disputes in the Kashmir region. Since gaining independence in 1947, the two nations have experienced several wars and military conflicts. History of India-Pakistan conflicts. 1. The 1947-1948 War. This war broke out shortly after the British withdrawal from the subcontinent as both India and Pakistan claimed sovereignty over Kashmir. It ended with a UN-brokered ceasefire that divided Kashmir into two parts, each controlled by one of the countries. Number 2. The 1965 War. This began when Pakistan launched an operation to seize Kashmir, leading to a full-scale war with India. It concluded with a ceasefire with no significant territorial changes. 3. The 1971 War, related to the independence movement in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. India intervened militarily in support of the separatist movement, ultimately leading to the creation of Bangladesh. Number 4. The 1999 Kargil conflict. Pakistani forces infiltrated the Kargil region of Indian-controlled Kashmir, resulting in intense fighting before the conflict was resolved through international diplomacy. Latest developments, May 2025. On May 6, 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor, conducting airstrikes on 9 targets in Pakistan and Pakistani-controlled Kashmir. This move came in retaliation for a terrorist attack on April 22nd in Pahalgam, Kashmir, which killed 26 Indian tourists. India blamed groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed for the attack and accused Pakistan of supporting these groups. Pakistan condemned the strikes as an act of war, claimed it had shot down 5 Indian fighter jets, and vowed a strong response. Cross-border shelling has already resulted in the deaths of at least 3 Indian civilians. International reactions. The international community, including the United Nations, China, the United States, and several European countries, has called on both sides to exercise restraint and resolve the dispute through dialogue. China emphasized the importance of peace and stability in the region, while the U.S. urged both nations to reopen communication channels to prevent further escalation. Current situation. Tensions between the two nuclear-armed nations are at a high level, with the risk of full-scale conflict looming. Both sides have increased military presence along the line of control (LOC), closed border crossings, and suspended bilateral agreements. Analysts warn that while the likelihood of total war remains low due to nuclear deterrence, the risk of miscalculation could lead to serious consequences. Thank you for watching World News Greenty. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with others, And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more global updates. See you in the next video.